All right. Welcome back to the Malapert Smark Podcast. We are here in this episode today, number 104, to review WrestleMania 40, which took place on Saturday, the 5th, April 5th, and Sunday, April 6th. For this, we got a panel of two esteemed colleagues, future Malapert Smark Hall of Famers. First, I'll start with Vlad, the wrestling expert. Hello, Vlad. Thank you for joining in today.
Always great to be here. You know that.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time and your energy and everything. And also, on the panel today, Robert, the Frozen Asian. Say what's up to the peoples out there, Robert.
What's up, my peoples?
Nice, nice, nice. All right. So we want to apologize to our fans. It took a little while to get the show recorded, but I was really busy this past weekend up till now with AI girls, man. Woo. But nonetheless, I'm here now. We got a moment with the boys, so let's get right into it. WrestleMania 40, all right? It was all about Cody finishing his story. Before we get to the rest of the card, let's just start with the Cody versus the Bloodline stuff. Started on night one with the main event. So let me pull up the Malapert Smark TV here, and let's jump right into some highlights before we get some comments from Vlad and Robert. So this was Rock and Roman against Cody and Seth. Stipulation for Cody's match was on the line. So stipulation for the match the next night, that was on the line. And this one was won by the Bloodline. The Rock getting the pinfall over Cody. Let's watch the end of it.
Cody gonna go for another.
This is Cody. Looks like he was gonna get Roman in his crossroads combination, but The Rock cracked him in the back with the title belt. Not the title belt, with the Mama Rhodes belt. Was that the Mama Rhodes belt?
Yeah. It was the Mama Rhodes weight belt or strap, I guess.
The Rock also demanded the tag, right? To finish off Cody himself.
That's right.
So The Rock came in with the rock bottom and a people's elbow and got the pinfall over Cody. So this sets up a no DQ match for night two. A disappointing end to the first night of WrestleMania for fans of Cody Rhodes. But let's get some thoughts on just the first night from you guys. Just on the tag match and what feelings you had about that. Let's start with Vlad, the wrestling expert. You go first.
Sure. Yeah, sure. No, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Of course, I thought it was an exciting match. The one thing I'll say about these matches is that obviously they do go quite a while, but I think it's not bad. Like, there's a great psychology in the build in some of these things, but I could see how someone that's already watched a lot of wrestling, already like 3.5 hours worth of wrestling, could already be a little bit tired by the time as this match is going. And I understand that this is like the match, right, of the night, but still, it's a lot of wrestling. It's a lot to get through. With that said, I did enjoy the match. I thought it was great. The right team did win based on, I think, the story that they had to tell the next night. The Rock looked great. Way better than I thought he was going to look. He did. And he did a lot of stuff in the match. Like, he did a lot of moves. I mean, so credit to him, credit to everybody involved. Obviously, Cody, Seth are regulars and known to be really good workers. Roman's obviously a good worker when he does wrestle. But really, The Rock kind of stole the show in this specific match because of how surprising to me how good he actually looked. But overall, great. Leave it at that.
All right, Robert, what did you feel heading home from night one?
Okay, so this match had to accomplish two things, because for me, it was really obvious Rock and Roman was going to win, right? So it had to accomplish two things: the heel team winning, and The Rock looking good. Mm-hmm. And on both fronts, the mission accomplished, right? And this match lasted, I believe, 45 minutes or so, or almost an hour.
Yeah,
and The Rock was part of, he was pretty much in action for a lot of it, more than I expected it to be. So that sounds really, really good, right? Like if let's say if two people were to come up to me and say, hey, I ran for an hour straight, right? On paper, that sounds really, really good and equally as impressive, but it could be that one of them did lots of sprints with like few breaks in between, whereas one did only like a light jog, right? Or like a medium paced jog. So on paper, it sounds great that The Rock went on a 45-minute match or so, but it's important to keep in mind that this match, the pacing of this match, was perfectly suited for him. They didn't go too fast. It was just right. And they had, they did pull some interesting spots here and there that was exciting. So yeah, overall enjoyable. I did end up enjoying it more than I expected to, actually. So yeah, overall great.
Well, you guys' predictions were right about that, was that The Rock and Roman won, and it did turn out to be Bloodline rules for the second night. So let's jump to that now, and let's go over some of the highlights. And boy, were there some highlights. So let me go through this real quick before I ask for analysis on this one. I'm going to jump to WrestleMania Night 2. Change the name on the video for any of you watching over there on the YouTube. If anyone is listening on the audio podcast platforms, we appreciate you also. But here's Cody coming in with Brandy, his wife. Here's Roman, had a big band going, lots of choir, singers, and an orchestra and everything, very dramatic. Roman and Cody face off in the ring, but I'm going to skip about 20 minutes into the match. They had a good match. They were fighting, but this was where the interference started, and we all knew it was no DQ, and we all knew it was going to be a melee. So let's go through everything that happened. Started with Jimmy. Jimmy Uso came in. Even Pat McAfee said, hey, you had to expect this. Jimmy Uso.
You're right.
And Jey Uso came in, and that led to Jey and Jimmy fighting, who had a match earlier in WrestleMania. So this is a continuation of that, and that's going to lead to a spear off the ramp onto a table, which was already pretty wild. All right, next interference spot. Another Cody Crossroads gets interrupted, this time by Solo Sikoa. All right, so now Solo's in the ring. Trying to run through this as fast as we can, guys, so I can get analysis from you guys. But Solo rolled Roman onto Cody. Cody still kicked out. Solo didn't know what to do at that point. It's like, how many finishers can Cody take? Cody was going to kick out of everything today. And this is where the surprises started to come in. Because John Cena's music hit to a huge pop. A huge pop, because no one was expecting this. But it was pretty brilliant in my mind, because Solo and Cena had a match a few months ago that basically not ended Cena's career, but made Cena mortal. So Cena came in to fight the guy who beat him horribly bad. And man, did Roman Reigns expect to take an AA on this evening? It's pretty hilarious. But Cena goes AA Solo onto the table on the outside, and that's it for Solo. So it's goodbye, Solo. Thank you for coming. And then this was the moment right here where people really started shitting themselves, because The Rock's music hit. And of course, anyone who's a wrestling fan knows that Cena and The Rock had 2 matches at WrestleMania, so this is a rehash of that. The Rock stomps to the ring, cursing up a storm. We don't know what he said. Half of the broadcast was censored. And then it led to this dramatic moment between The Rock and John Cena, which was really cool. Really, really cool. For one moment. They didn't really fight, though. It led to Cena just kind of getting rock bottom off of one. He attempted one punch. The Rock ducked it and told Cena to get the fuck out of here. So there goes Cena. Goodbye, Cena. Thank you for coming. And then the next guy's music who hits is The Shield. And this was weird to me. Very weird spot. Because First of all, I thought it might be Moxley. I was like, what the fuck? Why are they playing Shield music? That's the first thing that came to my head. But okay, very disjointed here. Roman Reigns cuts Seth Rollins off at the pass, sees him coming, so Seth does nothing here. And he was injured kind of, hobbling around from his match with Drew McIntyre, but still confusing scene to me. I didn't really understand why that happened the way it did, if anyone has any info about that. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. And this was where it really got nuts, because The Undertaker's music hit, and then the crowd was really shitting themselves, because what the fuck? The Undertaker, lights come on, The Rock is ready for The Undertaker to come in. I don't know why he's looking at the entrance ramp, but okay. The Undertaker's behind him, makes a mean, angry face, and that leads to The Rock also getting chokeslammed. Basically the same way John Cena did. One punch, ducked it, chokeslam, and then that led to Cody and Roman being in the ring with Seth, and Roman hits Seth with the chair because he was mad at him for betraying him when they were in the Shield, when he could have hit Cody with the chair. So that was a moment that was kind of interesting. But that did lead to them being in the ring together, which finally led to Cody having a chance to win fair and square. Blocks the spear, and it leads to a triple crossroads. And that leads to Cody Rhodes' eventual victory. As you guys predicted, he did finish the story. Several crossroads. There's another one, and there's the pinfall. And Cody Rhodes has done it. Okay, for anyone who hasn't seen this match, I'm sorry I skipped through it so fast, but I'm sure you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. We're not here to show this to you for the first time. We're just doing a general review so we could get some comments from the wrestling expert and the Frozen Asian. So there's Cody. Yes, big celebration. All the baby faces come in the ring. His wife gives his mama the belt. There you go. All right. Let's go back to our panel. Let's get some comments from Robert first this time. We started with Vlad last time. Sure. Robert, the floor is yours. Give us whatever thoughts you have about this chaos that ensued.
Oh, I have plenty. First off, great match. Awesome. And you did a great job covering pretty much the highlights, all the highlights of the match. I think the most important one was the chair shot to Seth Rollins, because even though there were some interferences and it evened out, the playing field did get evened out after the Undertaker came in, right? It appears that Roman still had a chance to win, but it looks like he decided that he wanted to take revenge on Seth Rollins more than he actually wanted to win the match versus Cody. Well, he wanted both, obviously, but clearly the Seth Rollins, the revenge on Seth Rollins was more meaningful to him at the moment.
Do you think it was a good moment for that callback?
Yeah,
because that's a very deep callback. Yeah,
absolutely. So this is
major wrestling fans.
Absolutely, this is great long-term storytelling right here.
All right.
Right. And I think it's awesome that Seth Rollins came out to the Shield theme song. Not just that, he dressed up in the original Shield outfit and even dyed his hair. Like his hair looked like the way it did when he debuted with the Shield. So
only to get Superman punched and hit with a chair.
Right. But yes, and then this is also a great callback to the comment that Seth Rollins gave to Cody Rhodes when he said, "I will be your shield."
True.
So even though Seth Rollins took 2 L's during this WrestleMania weekend, right? He ultimately did what he said he was going to do. He was the shield for Cody. He took that hit. Right? So that turned out to be true. Those were some prophetic words.
Yep. All right.
So that was a brilliant moment. Like whoever came up with that idea, props to whoever that was brilliant. Now, as for the rest of the match, look, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for two straight WrestleManias absolutely killed it. They did a wonderful job again this year. Um, Pretty much the interferences that happened, we saw all that coming, and then John Cena, I did have an idea that he might show up. The Undertaker. Now,
Yes.
he's
about the Undertaker.
okay.
Please.
So I'm a big Undertaker fan, and it's always a welcome sight to see him at any WrestleMania event. So I'm not gonna be complaining. I just about him showing up to help Cody. I just felt like to me it felt a little random because he doesn't have that much of a, well, he does have some history with The Rock, but not that significant. Like not really a significant amount of history with The Rock. I felt like that moment when Undertaker showed up, that was better suited for Stone Cold in my opinion.
Yeah.
But hey, an appearance from the Undertaker at WrestleMania, I can't really complain. So it still worked. The only other possibility besides him and Stone Cold that could potentially have made sense would probably be Triple H. Just because they've had some a war of words in that one press conference that leading up to this, so that could have made sense. But I really wished it was Stone Cold, honestly. But overall, really good match. Couple other things I want to point out. I want to rewind back exactly a year, around a year ago at around this time, when Roman Reigns won and a lot of fans were upset, right?
Yes,
A lot of us, including us, we were debating whether that was the right call or not. I think for the most part, we pretty much leaned towards no, that wasn't the right call. Now, looking back now with the benefit of hindsight, I think whatever the buildup would have been to this WrestleMania, if Cody did win, probably would not have been as good as what we ended up getting this year. I think. I could be
Yes.
wrong, right? So again, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, that might have not been such a bad idea. All right.
Well, the plan originally was to do Rock and Roman. It wasn't even
Right.
to have Cody.
That too, right? They tried to change it to Rock and Roman, but then they realized, okay, that was a mistake. They pivoted, and you know what? Good job, good on the WWE management to quickly fix that error, and from this point going forward, if 'cause that's not going to be the only mistake WWE ever makes, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more in the future. But I do have faith in their ability to pivot and make the right call when they realize
Robert,
the error of the ways.
So you're saying that it turned out to be good that they extended it a year because this turned out to be better than Cody winning last year.
Yeah, well, I feel like whatever the build up for this WrestleMania would have been if Cody would have won, I doubt it would have been as good. I'm just
They're
saying.
lucky they got The Rock involved, though, huh? A lot of things went their
That's
way.
true.
Vince McMahon's out.
You could
they
argue
got
that
The Rock to be involved.
Correct.
So yeah, he turned this up to another level, I would have to
Correct.
say.
And like I said, this is with the benefit of hindsight, right? Like looking back, it turned out great. So who knows what it could have been like if Cody did actually win last year? What would have been the build up to this WrestleMania? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
And also, since while I'm on the subject, I'll end with this. I am really, really happy that Cody Rhodes has done it and finished his story. He deserves it, right?
I'm tired of hearing about his story, but yes.
But at the same time, deep down, it felt a little bit bittersweet to me, just because this build up to this WrestleMania was so entertaining that I wished it went on a little bit longer. But hey, they ultimately made the right call. Cody deserved the win, and he got it. So there you go.
All right, Vlad, the wrestling expert, finally. Let's get your comments. Did this satisfy you as a wrestling fan?
Oh yeah, no. This was the last 15, 20 minutes. This was like artwork. This was amazing. This was
So it was
just
worth all the work you put in to watch all the build up and everything, and it had a payoff.
yes. This was amazing. Oh my god, it was like a religious experience, dude. I'm not a religious person, but that was unbelievable. What they did.
Is that what wrestling is all about, Vlad? Is that what wrestling is all about?
I would say that was what wrestling was all about for the most part. I just want to hit a couple points that Robert made as far as Cody not winning WrestleMania 39, winning WrestleMania 40. I agree in a sense, but the only and I think Keon pointed out, the only reason it ended up working out is because they brought in The Rock like 6 to 8 weeks prior to this whole thing. Otherwise, we were all kind of trying to figure out, like, why did this need to go another year for Roman and Cody? Not a lot was really accomplished in that year until The Rock came back. So yes, I agree that it worked out, but it worked out only because The Rock got involved, and that made it a lot more interesting after that. And once he turned heel, I should say.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. As far as the match, I mean, my goodness. I mean, sure, obviously they put on a great show prior to all the crazy disqualifications. You know, just two guys that can work, two guys that can just know what they're doing in there. But man, that sequence, the last 10 minutes, like I said, was something else. That was unbelievable. All the stuff that went on, the interference. The only thing that really was missing, and I have to agree with Robert again, is instead of The Undertaker, it really needed to be Stone Cold. I don't know what happened, why they couldn't get him, what the situation was. Did they just think, I don't know why they thought that, I don't know. We don't really know why they couldn't get Stone Cold, but obviously it made a lot more sense given the history between The Rock and Stone Cold and everything else in between, that it would have been like Stone Cold stepping in there and, maybe like coming in, delivering a stunner of some sorts, and then, instead of The Undertaker. I mean, you could make a case The Undertaker also is not a bad choice. I just think Stone Cold would have been the best choice. First of all, what if that glass broke and
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, man.
I would have lost my mind.
The pop in the arena would have been, I mean, it was already crazy with Undertaker, but it would have been
The Undertaker's pop was really big.
Oh yeah.
But so imagine how big Stone Cold's pop would have been then, It would have been probably even bigger. So not taking away from The Undertaker. I love The Undertaker. But I just think given the people involved in the angle, it would have made more sense for Stone Cold. But that's my only thing. But we don't really, if they couldn't get Stone Cold, like if he couldn't make it for whatever reason, if he had something going on, if he was injured, if he was sick, or he had something personal going on, we don't even know. Then they did the best they could with what they had, and it was great. That's just what it was. But I loved it. I loved every moment of the ending up to that match. I think, first of all, as far as Cody, quote unquote, I know Kaon hates this now because he said finishing the story. Man, if anybody deserves it, it's this guy. He's been a total professional since he came back. He's been like the face of the company.
Even in AEW, he was a professional.
He's a complete professional. He does everything well. He talks well. He looks intelligent. He talks intelligently. He carries the title well, and he's a great worker in the ring. So there's no reason for this guy not to be the world champion. And he's basically done everything possible since he came back to showcase that he should be the world champion. So if they were ever going to pass the title on to Roman, who was first of all, that's another thing that needs to be praised. Roman Reigns had one of the great. I don't care if he didn't have any title defenses or he didn't have enough title defenses. That was a hell of a reign, dude.
Yeah.
The amount of business that they made during his title reign was unbelievable. It could only be equated to like Attitude Era type money that they made. I mean, what a reign it was. I mean, it really was the reign of Roman because it really was tremendous. That really needs to be said as well. But if they were going to pass the title on to anybody in the company currently, it had to be Cody because that guy deserved it. He busted his ass more than anyone. Came from AEW, and really showcased himself the last couple, 3 years, that he really is a top guy, and he deserved it. So, again, wonderful moment. One of the best endings to WrestleMania that I've seen in a long time. Definitely in recent memory that I can think of. So great. And, I can't really say much more than that. I mean, I know a lot of people, I think that's, for the most part, it's getting universal praise as far as just the ending to it and just everything that went down at the end. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to confirm that's my opinion as well. Loved it.
All right. I will just make one comment regarding the Undertaker appearance that you guys both say should have been Stone Cold instead. I kind of disagree. I think this was perfect for the Undertaker only because I have this feeling, and I think a lot of people might have this feeling, that they want to use him as sort of a recurring character in the future that does this, just comes in randomly as like the purveyor of justice when there's like nothing left and the lights will just go off and he'll just like do the right thing that has to happen. You know what I mean?
But he's not done it before. So if he had done it previously, at some point you could be like, well, okay, he's done this 2 years ago, or he did. If he had done it, but now all of a sudden, I mean, okay, if that's something that they go long term, okay. If that's like something that he does every once in a while, he makes an appearance for justice, like we gotta preserve justice here. I mean, how many times could he have preserved justice within the last couple of years that Roman was champion?
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's true. But this was the point where it had to happen. It had to happen here.
Oh, I agree. This was it.
Yeah.
This was definitely it. Like,
this would have been the one.
Yeah,
but
I
also,
agree with that part.
Another reason I think it was kind of a sweeter spot for The Undertaker was that he could have just kind of pop in and leave when the lights turned off. Because if Stone Cold was there, Stone Cold would take a lot of attention away from Cody. And he would be there in the ring. He can't just disappear magically. He'd have to drink some beer. Maybe Cody would be drinking beer with him. You know,
he wouldn't have to drink beer right then. He could drink beer after the
match. He's always drinking beer. All right. Listen,
but I see your point. So that's a fair point.
So we all love that. Okay.
Yeah.
That was great. But let's move on to the rest of WrestleMania because we're not going to talk about every single match for match because there was a lot of matches and there were WrestleMania reviews up the yin-yang on the internet. Everyone had a WrestleMania review. Come WrestleMania season and everyone thinks they're a goddamn podcaster. They're not doing it every damn week like we are in the trenches reviewing fucking AEW and shit. All these wannabe wrestling experts. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about AEW. I'm being a good guy. I'm being a good boy. I'm
just saying, we even cover AEW, and these people come in at WrestleMania and want to put their review in and think like they should have some kind of clout. Yeah, who the hell are you? Where have you been all year? Anyways, so if you want an in-depth WrestleMania review, there's a lot of them. But for now, I'll just ask Vlad, the wrestling expert, I'll go right back to you, if there were any matches that stood out to you as being really good.
There were one in specifically, which was the Gunther and Sami Zayn match. I thought was a tremendous match. Loved the whole build-up to it. As well, loved the whole, not the build-up so much, but so much just like Sami coming out with the kid, like talking to his family, and then coming out. They're following him coming out. Kevin Owens is there to greet him, telling him like he can do it, pumping him up. You know, I like that part of it, and I like the match itself. Obviously, the work was tremendous. Sami is a really good wrestler, and we know Gunther's probably, I would say, the best in-ring wrestler in the world today. His work is flawless. Almost, I've never seen a bad Gunther match in my life. I don't think it's even possible. I don't think you could do it. I don't think you could have a bad match. So that was tremendous. My only complaint, and I think I made it at the time when we were all watching it together, is if they were going to have Sami win and take the title so Gunther could go on maybe to go for the world title or go somewhere else, you know, like he's had the IC belt enough, they should have done a better job the last 6 months or so building up Sami as a singles competitor, because they didn't really. That's the reason I said like no, they shouldn't beat him here with Sami, because they just hadn't done a good enough job doing anything with Sami the last 6 months or even longer. You know, I know you said like a year ago he main evented night one of WrestleMania with the tag team, but what after after that folded and he went singles, he really hasn't been doing. I mean, he's won some matches, but he really hasn't been built up like a guy that should be able to beat Gunther. I'm sorry. I didn't like that part of it. But overall, the match, can't say anything about the work, and obviously can't say anything about the direction, because I think they do. I think you made the point in one of the WrestleMania previews that they might have a plan for Gunther to just move on from the IC belt and now focus on, I don't know if it's going to be feuding with the Universal title or the World title or which title, but one of the titles.
Yes.
Going forward. So, okay. And Sami's going to get Sami's a very deserving IC champion. I think he's a great wrestler. I've always been a fan of his work as far as in-ring. And some of his character stuff is pretty good, too. I just didn't like that one element. Is they didn't build him up strong to be like, okay, now there's a challenger that could beat Gunther because of the last, you could point at the last 6 months of how he's come along, right? It didn't happen here, but okay, overall, I like that. That was probably my favorite match outside of like all the Bloodline and Cody stuff that went on. So.
Yeah, my prediction didn't come true about Chad Gable, Sami Zayn's trainer, coming in to turn on him. But yeah, that was always going to be interesting to see who got booked to win that one. It could have gone either way. We were not very sure. But yeah. All right. Anything else you want to shout out or no?
I will say also that I want to give credit to Rhea and Becky for having.
Oh yeah, I think Becky had a flu or something like that.
Yeah,
I was mad, and the fact that Becky had the flu, had a high fever, sore throat. I mean, I usually can't move out of bed when I'm sick like that with a high fever and sore throat. The fact that she went on there and performed and had a capable, not even just a capable, but I would say a really good match. Like the fact that she performed under those conditions.
Maybe they pumped her full of something or other.
Oh, they pumped her full of a lot of medications, I'm sure. But they had to do enough where she wouldn't be loopy. They had to make sure that she was at least able to compete. So they couldn't fill up with like everything. But I give them a lot of credit. I thought it was, given the circumstances, the cold weather too.
Oh,
in fact, it was also, and that must really suck. Having a flu, you're feeling shitty. You're opening the night, and it's pretty cold weather, and you're not wearing a lot of clothing. Jesus Christ, So give them full credit. They put on a great match. I think those are I'm trying to think if there was anything else that should stick out, but okay. Well, real quick, I don't want to I know Robert probably is going to mention this one, but obviously the stuff that happened with. I'll let Robert talk about it more, but definitely the stuff that happened with Seth, Drew, and then obviously the post stuff with CM Punk is a big thing that happened as well.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if you were gonna even mention that. I was like, that was really cool, but yes,
no, it was really cool. But I'll let Robert, because I've taken a bunch of time.
And if he doesn't mention that, then I would have. But
yes. It's okay.
Anyways, Robert, was that what you were going to talk about, or did you have another thing in mind?
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to say. It's very clear that Drew McIntyre didn't get the memo that even on commentary, nobody can touch CM Punk. Drew McIntyre still tried. He still tried.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'd never thought of that. Yes, this was when Drew McIntyre won the world title and still went to go talk crap to CM Punk. And CM Punk hit him with his cast, stomped on him, and then Drew got cashed in on by Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, much to the much to the pleasure of CM Punk. And yeah, it took one choke slam, and that was it. New world champion, in case anybody missed that. And CM Punk, of course, laughing at the despair of Drew McIntyre, who finally got his WrestleMania moment in front of a crowd. Got to show his girlfriend the title before he lost it. But yes, Judgment Day now is super stable. So I dug that very much as well. Yeah. Judgment Day with the men's world champion and the women's world champion. But that was well done. Very, very incredible use of an injured CM Punk that they're still getting something out of him, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was great. I admit that was really well done, and yeah, I'll let Robert.
Yeah, Robert. Do you have anything else you want to say about WrestleMania?
I really loved the Bayley versus Io Sky match. Also, I thought that was really, really good. I'd say that was probably the second best match of night 2. And Vlad already brought it up, but I want to basically echo his thoughts on the Sami versus Gunther match. That was excellent. So yeah, I mean, I expected them to have a good match. I forgot, did any of us actually predict Sami to win? I forgot our predictions on that match, but I don't
No,
remember.
I definitely didn't.
Okay.
I did not.
I forgot. I don't even remember what my prediction was on that, but
I think we did mention that if they want to elevate Gunther, he might lose the title, but
Yeah,
we didn't
it was
really know what
mentioned,
their plans are.
Okay.
but I don't think we thought that was going to happen. But I think it was mentioned.
But yeah,
All right,
that
well,
was another excellent match, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
All right,
Yeah.
well, let me give some quick hitting notes on some of these matches. If anyone has any comments to jump in with, go ahead. So there was that 6-team ladder match for the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles where both of them were hanging. And we didn't even know the rules that they had to get both. That was kind of unfair to Judgment Day, retaining
my
the title.
God,
How
what
were
a
they
disaster.
supposed to get both titles? Anyway, so they split up the tag team titles there, which was confusing and weird. The worst match on WrestleMania was that Philly street fight between the Pride
yeah.
and the
Oh,
Final
yeah.
Testament. I think they just needed to get Scarlett on the card somehow, but that was completely useless. Rhea and Dominik had a tag match. I think it didn't have the same heat that it had last year, but it was once again won by Rhea. So I thought they kind of lost something there. The build-up wasn't really as good as it was last year, and the match didn't come off.
The ex-con got robbed again.
Yes, exactly. Brother versus brother match, Jimmy and Jay. It was pretty good. Pretty good. I like the little spot where Jimmy tried to apologize and Jay accepted it, only for it to be a swerve. I kind of like that. There was that 6-woman tag match between Damage Control and the group of babyface women, which I thought fell flat. Other than Damage Control's entrance with Dakota Kai fronting the group, that was like smoking hot. But other than that, the match itself, I didn't really care for. And then LA Knight versus AJ, I thought that was a nice, well-worked match. It helped LA Knight get over, but nothing spectacular, but also nothing really fake or phony. Complete professionals.
Solid.
Solid, yes. The U.S. title triple threat match, I think wasn't
like
that
that.
special. You liked it? The only thing I liked was that the spot where Randy Orton nailed Logan Paul's lackey in the Pride energy drink costume.
Oh, where he pushed him down and he fell over.
I don't know. This guy was funny. I don't know who this guy is, but he had a lot of confidence wearing that costume.
I can't imagine having any confidence wearing something like that, but nonetheless.
All right, that's all I got for WrestleMania. But if anyone has any closing comments.
I would just say that the Uso stuff, I think, was really not great. The match was not very good. I think the ending, like you said, where he started begging, was good. But prior to that and everything else, wasn't really a big fan. The rest of the card, outside of the U.S. title match that you just mentioned, the triple threat, which I actually did enjoy, I could have mentioned that as one of the highlights, was also pretty good. But a lot of stuff that really could have been cut down. Like, do we really need some of these matches? Do we really need 2 nights? I don't know. I still think they should go back. They should go back to a 1-night form. There's no reason.
I don't like this.
There's no reason that they could. If they want to go a little bit longer, fine. But like, if you want to sneak in a couple of matches and get some other guys on the card, okay. But 2 nights is a little too crazy. It's
they could do 5 hours with a pre-show and get everyone in that they need to get in. But yeah, this is a money grab. We talked about this last year on this show. 2 nights is obviously going to make them more money. So, but yeah,
sure, I understand.
It was tiring. Even for me, it was tiring.
Yeah, but because there's so much of this match, so many matches that could have been saved for lesser pay-per-views or even SmackDown or Raw, not matches that needed to be on WrestleMania. And I understand that you want to put these guys on and showcase them as well, but I don't know. Just seemed like they were filler matches for the most part.
All right, Robert, if you don't have any closing thoughts, I might wrap up this segment.
Nothing else from me.
All right. Well, I will mention that the story continued on the next night. that The Rock came out and during Cody's celebration to remind him that he's the boss, and he held Cody's title belt for 1 minute. They traded belts because The Rock is the people's champion. The Rock seemed like he wanted that belt, and then he gave Cody something. And do you guys know what that was that he gave him, by the way? I think they...
Actually, maybe Robert knows. I have no idea what the hell he gave him. I haven't really done any... I don't know.
I had a really wild theory, which I think that the probability of it was low to begin with, but then after the SmackDown promo that Cody gave, the way he described it, there's no way it could be what I was hoping it would be. What I was hoping it would be, because it would have been crazy if this was true, was MJF's ring.
Oh my God! Good idea, man. Man, somebody get Robert on the booking committee, man. Oh my God.
That would only make sense if they were gonna get MJF.
Exactly. So, well, yeah.
That's what some people thought MJF was gonna appear on Raw that day.
So, I don't remember how Cody actually described it in SmackDown, but the way he did, it pretty much shut down my theory. Like, okay, well, it's definitely not MJF's ring. I have no idea. It could be, I don't know. It could be a ring, just not MJF's ring. It could be a lighter.
I don't know. It could be something related to Dusty Rhodes, maybe something of his, or. But and then the other story that continued on Raw was the Drew McIntyre thing. He was pissed off that he thinks CM Punk was a coward, that he just sat there the whole time while he was talking smack, and then attacked him the moment he turned his head. And then, believe it or not, CM Punk was there to ruin his #1 contenders match and cost him another match. Somehow they continue to use CM Punk. I am amazed at how they get him in the story, which is kind of what they should have done in AEW when he got hurt. You know, still try to get him on the show at least to talk and stuff. So I think WWE are doing a great job. Great job with CM Punk so far. All right, well, onward towards the future and whatever stories we get from WWE. We just hit the peak, the apex, and now we got to wait a whole another year to see what's going to come of the next WrestleMania. So, all right then. Thank you for Vlad, the wrestling expert, for Robert, the Frozen Asian. This has been our WrestleMania 40 review from the year 2024. Thank you for listening. Keep watching wrestling. Subscribe, hit like. Subscribe to the Malapert Smark Podcast, because we're going to be here all year, not just for WrestleMania. All year, baby. All right. Subscribe, because we're going to talk about CM Punk and the All-In footage next on the next segment that we record. So stay tuned for that.